So here we finally have gotten our riser plate on. We put in all our coolant passage seals, as well as now we've installed our head gasket. The fire rings here on the cylinder actually are what seal our combustion gases from the rest of the system. And as we place the head on and we torque it in sequence, these fire rings actually compress and they fill this little gap right here, and they allow that to actually seal and not allow any combustion gases to get into our oil or coolant the way it is or has been doing. It's a pretty straightforward process. You just follow CAT's procedure and OEM specifications, and from there we will install the rest of the cylinder head and torque everything down to be crushed and seated properly, and hopefully we get it back to work as soon as possible.
And it's voiceover time. Hey everybody, I know you missed me. So here Cody is, he's throwing the camshaft in the engine here. He's got lube and cleaning up all his bores, make sure everything's really well pre-lubed before we slide it in. You wouldn't really know it, but these cams weigh in at about 100 pounds. They're quite heavy, so it's a lot of work to get one in place without, you got to make sure you don't scratch any of the bearings and everything. When this head was out and getting machined and pressure checked and everything, we decked it. We had new bearings installed and all of that kind of stuff. So this thing's pretty much a brand new head, more or less. Same valves, new seals, that kind of thing. But no, it's in good shape. And yeah, so just trying to make sure that we don't scratch any of the bearings. We got to be careful. So here he is, just going in slowly. All right, so here we got the head up on the picker. We're going to start getting it into place. We're kind of wrestling with it. Our picker doesn't roll very good. There's a couple of specks of dirt on the floor, so it doesn't roll for nothing. But if you look, we got a spreader bar there. We use that bar for installing heads and, the bigger engines. It's nice. It can handle the weight, and it's threaded, so we can move the head and tilt it on its own without, having to mess around with come-alongs or things like that. It's super nice. Awesome tool. That's courtesy of Ben Martin, actually. He built that years and years ago. And I've been using it ever since. Fantastic tool. So shout out to Ben Martin on that one. So yeah, we're just going to wrestle it into place and kind of get it where it needs to be, and then we're going to slowly drop it down onto that deck. So now we kind of got the head in place. We're just, finishing getting it on the deck. And this one's kind of for the ladies here. Look at how cute Cody's bum is. Like he's a keeper, that one. All right, so here we got the head finally set down into place. It's on its dowels, nice and flat on the gasket. And we're going to get started by putting our head bolts in. And then we're going to start our torque sequence. And there is a very specific way that these have to be torqued down. It's somewhat of a figure 8 pattern, working from the inside of the head, working outwards, so that it not only comes down evenly from the middle out, but also from the center of the head out to the edges. I hope that's a good way to describe it. Yeah, follow along and just watch, and you'll see exactly how she's done. Luckily on this one, as a mechanic, I actually know the torque specs in the sequence, but basically it's a step torque working up to 330 foot-pounds on these. This is a 5EK CAT 3406. It is an E model, electronic injection, and yeah, it's a step torque. I think it's 120 first step, and then it works up to like 200, and then up to 330, and then you do 330 twice. Because as you work your way out on the head, it does deflect to a degree, and those inner bolts will actually start coming loose as we crush that gasket into place. Well, here's this beautiful cat all put back together. Cody did an absolutely fantastic job on this thing. Like, there was no leaks. Everything went just beautiful on it. It looked so good when it was all done. Nice and clean. No oil leaks, no coolant leaks. Like, no issues. This thing ran. I took it for a boot down the highway. It had lots of power. Sounded great. The jakes worked amazing. Yeah, it was just awesome. Customer's going to be super happy with that. I'm sure of it. And, yeah, like, it looks just amazing. We did end up, you can see in the video there, the exhaust flange that goes onto the turbo was a little bit messed, so we just pulled that back. We cut them ourselves. We weld them in. No issues there, just so that, you know, we have no exhaust leaks when this thing leaves. And, yeah, here's some videos of it just completed. You know, in here we'll have a first startup video. And, yeah, she runs just beautiful. Makes the guy want to cry a little.